Oh, I don't seem to be. There we are. Good morning. How are you all this morning? Great. Hello to you online. Welcome to Golden Gate Center for Spiritual Living. I'm Reverend Mary Marie Shelton. I'm the community spiritual leader here, and I am so delighted to welcome you. This is your opportunity, those of you that are here in the sanctuary, this is your opportunity to move around and say good morning to each other. And I know you can't possibly have said good morning to everybody in here yet. So stand up, walk around, introduce yourselves to people you don't know, welcome people you haven't seen in a while or who are new, and just generally make each other welcome. And those of you online will be right back with you in just a couple of minutes after they've said hello. So welcome yourself. Go get another cup of coffee or tea, have a little hike around the living room, and settle in for a wonderful morning. We'll be right back with you in a moment. All right, come on back. All right, come on back and find your seats. I'm glad to see you're having such a good time with each other, but we have more coming. So I invite you to come on back and get settled. We are delighted to welcome back Anton Miserak and Laura Berryhill this morning. It's been a couple of years since they've been with us. And yeah. I don't know if you know, Anton is a composer. He's been playing tabla, harmonica, synthesizers, and piano. He is literate in Sanskrit. How many people do you know who are literate in Sanskrit? He's the only one I know, with an MA in the history of religions. And he has an intimate understanding of Asian spiritual and musical traditions, so he uses them to create music that enriches and enlivens the listeners. He lives and records in Mount Shasta in a home and studio that he built himself. This guy can do everything, I guess. And Laura has a master's degree in music history focused on early 17th century Italian sacred music. Isn't that amazing? She works in lots of musical styles, from early European music to folk music to Celtic cultures to New Age and jazz. And they are you still co-music directors for Center for Spiritual Living in Rogue Valley in Southern Oregon, and staff ministers at Unity in Redding. So we're really lucky to have them back with us this morning. They just got back from Nepal. They haven't even been home yet. So there is night where they are. But we are so happy to welcome them back. So please welcome them and stand and sing with us.
Thank you.
Please stand.
Yeah, we'd love to invite you to stand. Yes. We're here to be live music, and there's going to be a little clapping involved. There was a time in my life I thought I had to do it all myself. I didn't know the grace of God was sufficient. I didn't know the love of God was at hand. But now I can say, if you are discouraged, struggling just to make it through another day, you got to let it go. Let it all go. And this is what you have to say. I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God.
All right, so I want to invite you to go ahead and silence your cell phones now as we prepare to turn within and get centered. And those of you at home, you don't have to turn your cell phone off, but get ready to get centered, and you might want to silence it anyway. And I want to invite up Reverend Judith Fleener, who's going to do our opening for us now.
Beloved, the delight of the universe, this one presence, this omnipresence that is in and through all creation, vibrating at the speed of creation, feeling each spot in every place in my body, knowing that God is illuminating the vitality from within. Seeing the distant stars, the planets, the hilltops, the waves in the ocean, and knowing that God is the infinite that is motivating everything. And so from this place of realization that I live in a sea of creative energy, of life, of love, of pursuit, of happiness, of sadness, of joy, of chaos. I know that it is all impelled by that one primary power that lives and breathes me. That as I take an inhalation, it is God that I am breathing in. And as I let go, it is God that is going out into the universe, touching the hearts and the souls of every being, constantly breathing in and breathing out. And so in this place, I just claim for this day and this service together that Reverend Mary is filled with that life and that love as she breathes in the words of God and shares them from her heart to yours, knowing that the exact right words are spoken for the healing of whatever is needed healing in your heart, your soul, your body. That the words are words of God just traveling and traversing through the beloved known as Reverend Mary. And the same for our beloved musicians that we are lucky enough to have live and in person today. That they bring all that they brought with them from Nepal, from that journey across the ocean, to be present with us here and delight our souls. And that we are surrounded by technology that allows us to hear the words with clarity and see them online and re-see them as many times as we want on YouTube. For this we are graced with the beloved. And so I am just so grateful for this community empowered by one light. And I am reminded that there is nothing for me to do for the next step forward in my life other than step forward and allow the creative flow of the divine to flow through me, and to stand in that gratitude for this experience called life, whatever it should bring. Gratitude for the way God creates based on what I am thinking and claiming and moving forward in the world. And so there is nothing ever to do but to stand in that place of gratitude always and say thank you. And so now I say thank you for everything that makes this service a delight, from the community to the music, to the words, to the fullness that is in the coffee and the snacks. And I just let it be, and I say thank you. And so it is. Amen.
Anton and Laura.
This is an original song of ours. Starlight filters through the dream time, sending its brilliance to the world. So many questions in the meantime, forgetting all the games, where to turn to go now, who will hold your hand, who will trust your perfect dreaming heart. Birds flying home and the water flowing swiftly, where are they going in the twilight? It's the answer to our prayers, the mystery unspoken, the song sung unbroken and free, the elemental fire, the path beyond desire, the grace that lifts us higher till we see. Can you see your face in the mirror of the angels? They whisper back the secrets of our lives. It's the answer to our prayers, the mystery unspoken, the song sung unbroken and free, the elemental fire, the path beyond desire, the grace that lifts us higher till we see. Take a deep breath into the wonder of your loving, precious soul. Can you feel it? The beauty of each day we walk this earth refines that wonder into gold. It's the answer to our prayers, the mystery unspoken, the song sung unbroken and free, the elemental fire, the path beyond desire, the grace that lifts us higher till we see, till we see, till we see, till we see.
Thank you, Laura and Anton. This month we've been talking about the power of prayer in the context of the Grand Rising, yeah? And the power of prayer in the science of mind is the power of claiming for ourselves. I'm humming a little bit, guys. The power of claiming for ourselves the spiritual truth, which is more expanded and deeper and more filled with possibilities than what we're currently experiencing and also than we can even imagine. So in the early part of it, I spoke about the beginning of the prayer, which we call spiritual mind treatment, the beginning of the prayer being different than immediately launching into, God, please help me with this, or please don't let that happen, or I'm really sorry, but if I do this, would you do that? Instead of that kind of prayer. This is entirely different. So I said, when we begin, we want to know what the issue is that we're wanting to address with the prayer and how we want to feel instead. And then having established that recognition inside ourselves, we set all of that aside and we turn our attention to how do we experience the divine? How do we experience that infinite presence? Is it looking up in a moonless night and seeing all the stars? Is it being out on the beach and seeing the endless ocean, or being in the forest? Is it being with friends or children or pets? It might be being right in the city or doing some kind of an athletic event. How do we feel connected to something bigger than we are? And once we recognize the vastness and the love and the power of that, then we want to recognize also that that's what we're made of. We're not observing it as a separate thing. We are looking at essentially part of ourselves. This is the wholeness of which we are a part. Once we have really entered into and experienced those two things, then we can step forward into claiming the spiritual truth. It's important when we do that that we recognize that the creative law does the work. It's not our job to do the work. We can't possibly. We don't know all the options and possibilities and pathways, and we need to give that over. But we want to first declare how we want to experience it, how we imagine it, to turn that blueprint over to the creative law to do the work. And then once we have done that, the last part is letting it go. So I often tell people when they put in a written prayer request over here at the prayer box that writing it is a part of setting that prayer into motion even before it reaches the practitioners. And that once we let go of it, when we put it into the box and we let it go, we set it into motion in the law. The practitioners do the work for that which we have requested, but they recognize that the change needs to happen in consciousness. They're not praying for the condition, they're praying for the consciousness in themselves and thereby also in you, for you, to open to that greater good that you want to receive. But it's not possible unless we're absolutely willing to let go. This fellow said, I constantly log on to the internet to self-diagnose all my latest ailments. But even I knew it was time to lighten up the day I typed in the words liver disorders, and it led me to a medical site. And with growing alarm, I realized I had each of the first 7 symptoms. And then I came to number 8, and I suddenly felt much better. It said, feeling of lethargy, no longer enjoys romping and wagging tail. Time to let go of the idea that this disorder was something he was experiencing, since clearly he had no tail to wag. We have to let go of the problem and let go also of our concerns and worries and doubts in order to allow the response that we're looking for from the universe to show up in the way that we're expecting it or hoping for it. So the last part of the prayer, after we've made that declaration, which is like, I know, I claim, I accept, I welcome, I value, I treasure, or, I am becoming this now and I'm welcoming that. I am clear that this is taking place in my life. We say it even though it's not physically there in front of us yet. We say it to give a clear direction to the law. It's a little bit like if you're building a house, if instead of giving a completed blueprint to the builders, you gave them an outline of what it looks like now. Now, they would have a really difficult time building the house of your dreams based on that, wouldn't they? Hello, yes? I think so. My son works construction. I've never heard of him doing one from that kind of a drawing or just a general description of what's wrong with the place now. We have to give clear direction. The law needs that clear direction. So we do that with that middle step, and then in advance, before we even see it, we move into gratitude. What does it feel like? What do we imagine it will really feel like when that is the present truth of our lives? What does that feel like? What is the freedom or the relief or the delight or the surprise and thrill of experiencing that which we wish? Or is it greater peace and a sense of safety and groundedness? Whatever it is, we want to have some sense of what that feels like to us. That's part of how we recognize that, bless you, the demonstration when it shows up in our experience is because we get that experience inwardly, that feeling. So we go to gratitude and then we let it go. We let it go in gratitude. The work of creating is not ours to do. So then the question becomes, well, what is it I'm trying to let go of? Why do I need to let it go? And how do I let it go? So first, we ask ourselves, what is it I need to let go of? Now, literally in the prayer, what we're letting go of is the prayer request itself. We're doing it physically, maybe, or we're letting it go to the practitioner who's doing the work, who's letting it go to the law. We want to let that go. We also want to surrender as much as possible as we're doing the treatment, surrender our doubts, surrender control. You can't let go of a treatment, a prayer, that you're trying to control the outcome of. So we often teach people, it isn't your business to figure out how this is going to come into place. Like to say to God, okay, this is the first step I want you to do. And then wait for that. And then here's the second step I want you to do. And then wait for that to show up. That is insanity. What we want is to focus on that finished experience, exactly the finished experience. And the universe will usually find a way that is better or much different than how we imagined it would come. So, for example, if we have a diagnosis we're concerned about, I had somebody come to me once and say, I want you to treat for me so that I will not have to have surgery. And I said, that's not really how we do this. I mean, I could do that, but I think you don't really want to do that, because if you do that, you're shutting every other possible door except that one. You're saying to Spirit, or you're saying to Spirit, I don't want this to come through surgery. So you may be leaving other doors open, but if surgery is your best path forward, shutting that door is not so smart. And what we want to do is let that be up to creative law. How do we want to create that experience? The how it comes about is not up to us, because we don't have all those infinite bits of knowledge and information and pathways. So we let go of control. We give it over, knowing that something smarter than we are knows how to do it. We don't. You with me here so far? So that's what we're letting go of as we let go of the prayer. Now, why? Why do we let it go? We let it go because if we keep control of it, we're limiting the amount of good we can let in to only what we have already experienced and can conceive. If we let go of control, we're opening up to and declaring our faith in the infinite presence and the law to do that work. We're building our faith by letting it go. We're allowing a greater good to come to us because we're no longer in the way. Do you ever try to feed a really hungry pet? Right? You don't fill the bowl in front of them on the floor. Why? Because the animal will get in your way into the bowl and you can't get the food in there, yeah? We don't want to be in the bowl. We want the bowl to be fully available for the universe to fill it with wonderful things for us. But it can't do that when we're trying to control it and get in the way. You with me here? Okay? So we want to let in that greater good. And then how are we going to let it go? How do we do that? That becomes a challenge. We want to grow our faith so that we're able more and more to let it go more and more easily. The more we practice letting it go, the easier it gets to do it. And so our founder, Ernest Holmes, wrote in this thing called life, in a sense, we subject our infinite problems, our finite problems, they seem infinite to us, we subject our finite problems to the infinite intelligence, which automatically solves them through our recognition and acceptance that they are being solved. We can't do that until we let it go. So, I said the first week that I spoke about the first two steps, that might be the most important part of the prayer. Recognizing the infinite and getting into the experience of that being our own self, our own nature. But then, it's also very important that we come into that place of gratitude and letting go. And that is where our deep faith is required. Not faith in this capricious God that some of us have believed in, who might or might not think we're worthy of that, or might or might not be too busy to listen to us at that moment, or who thinks our problems are too trivial, but to a creative law that is completely neutral, absolutely present, receptive, acting on our belief system all the time. It never rests, it never goes to sleep, it's never unavailable. It's always active. So when we let the directions go, it has to go to work. And it will produce according to that which is released into it, provided that we don't dig it up and contradict it. So that's why we want to cultivate our faith and calm and release our sense of doubt and control, because those send contradictory information into the creative law. Now, we don't have to be perfect at this, which is really good news. What we want to be able to do is just have a greater percentage of faith than we do doubt. And the more we practice that faith, it's like a muscle, it gets stronger. So faith grows with use, just like anything else that we do and practice. And Nicola Ramsara, who's a mental health advocate, said, launch out into the deep. Launch out with faith, launch out with determination, launch out with fear on your shoulder. Embrace the possibilities, embrace the struggle, embrace the butterflies, embrace the yes. So she's not saying that we go forward without any fear, worries, discomfort, doubt, because we don't. We're human beings. But to the greatest degree that we let go, we stretch ourselves a little bit to be able to do more, to let go more completely, to surrender with greater faith. And each time we see a result, a demonstration, we experience more of the direction that we wanted to go, we want to acknowledge that so that we can anchor that in our experience and bring forth more. So moving from that, we're going into recognizing the faith that we're building, bless you, the faith that we're building in the creative law. Because we cannot control, and foresee everything. We just don't have the ability to do that. But even in the midst of doubt and tragedy or difficulty or fear, we can experience something that comes forward as a blessing when we're making space, for that. So it's not up to us to try and figure it out, because we can't see what's coming and we couldn't control it even if we could. In fact, if we could, we might run away from it, and maybe what we needed to go where we wanted to go was to walk through it instead. Alan Lokos, who was a Buddhist teacher, a meditation teacher, is a man who was in a plane crash where he was severely burned. As he began to recover and continue his practice, he recovered sufficiently to be able to continue teaching meditation. Now, he's very scarred. He's lost digits and so on. He said this in his book, Through the Flames. Our life can be transformed by even a minimal change in our perceptions. Our entire quality of life can be impacted by minimal mental adjustments. People are not grateful because they're happy. They're happy because they're grateful. A moment of gratitude is a sincere expression of an enlightened being. A moment of gratitude. One of our favorites, Reverend Dr. Michael Beckwith, said, as you begin to be grateful for what most people take for granted, that vibration of gratitude makes you more receptive to the good in your life. So not only by gratitude are we opening the way to greater good, we're also up-leveling our consciousness about the good we're already experiencing. And just beginning to be grateful for the things we normally take for granted will expand and deepen and call in more of that good and strengthen our faith in it coming. So we don't need to do it. In fact, we can't. Ernest Holmes said once that the conscious mind only has two jobs. It's not creative, but it does choose, it has volition to say, this is the experience I'm claiming. It has the ability to do that. It has the ability to say, this is how I want to experience my life. This is what I'm choosing. This is what I'm letting go of. This is what I am no longer indulging in or entertaining. I am stepping forward into this greater good now. I am doing that. So that's one job the conscious mind has, is choice, volition. And the other is focus. Focus. So that's where prayer and meditation come in to being very useful, because we learn in those how to focus. And so if doubt arises in the process of our prayer unfolding and being manifested, if our doubt arises, our fear, if our control grabs on, we can sit down and go into our practice and remind ourselves and let it go again. And the more we do that, the deeper we go. The more we not only communicate to the law that we really mean it, the more we allow ourselves to go deeper into the experience that we want, even before it shows up in form. I always think about Ernest Holmes describing this and saying, it's not up to us to make the law work. In fact, we can't. It's a waste of time and energy. And then the example he gave was, he said, I was at our Asilomar walking on the grounds. And as I was walking on the grounds there with the ocean and the paths and everything and the beautiful grounds, and I was saying, as I was walking, each step I took, I said, gravity, hold me down. Gravity, hold me down. Gravity, hold me down. He said it was effective, but it was a lot of work. Now, the point of that, of course, is that it was a complete waste of time, because he had no impact on gravity. Gravity was completely neutral. It was going to do what it was going to do no matter what he did. Otherwise, if gravity could choose who it held on to and who it let go, various ones of us would be floating away already. But instead, we're all here Gravity applies to everybody equally. It has no favorites. It doesn't matter whether you deserve it or not. It doesn't matter whether you believe in it or not. It just does what it does. And that's exactly how the creative law works. It has no opinion of you. It has no opinion of what it is you want to create in your life. None whatsoever. If you want to put a peanut butter sandwich into the VCR, it's fine with the creative law. That's the equivalent of the creative law. Your VCR does not know, or in this case, it would be a DVD player, or now I guess it's just a digital download. But you could stuff peanut butter into your computer somehow, I suppose. Anything that you would do like that, the creative law is going to go ahead and produce according to what you put into it. If you tune your radio to somewhere between stations so that all you get is static, the radio will play that all day long. It has absolutely no opinion about what you want to listen to or whether it's pleasing or good for you. So you can listen to conspiracy theories or political ranting and raving, or you can listen to music that is of many different styles, some of which appeals to some folks and some to others. The point is that just like the radio or the DVD player or the download, it just does what it knows how to do without any sense of judgment or opinion about it whatsoever. So we want to enter into that place of gratitude. The law will do it all for us when we let it. We let it go. We let it be. We release it in gratitude. And when we say, and so it is, that's the completing, the letting go at the end of the prayer. So you always hear us say that. Holmes also said, in everything give thanks. An attitude of gratitude is most salutary, meaning healthful, and bespeaks the realization that we are now in heaven. Now, if we're not experiencing that, it's because heaven is not a place, it's a state of mind. It's already available, it's already here, but we have to be willing to let go of what's in the way in order to recognize it and feel it. So we can be in the state of mind we would call hell, or we could be in the state of mind somewhere in between on that continuum, or in the state of heaven. And all of us have experienced the whole range and gamut of it. So gratitude is this magnetic thing that as we experience it and express it and let go in that energy of gratitude, it's like we're saying to ourselves, all this that I just said, this is already here right now. And I am thrilled and delighted and thanks a lot. That's kind of the end of the treatment. That's what that feeling is. So when we let it go, we allow the universe then to begin to do the work. Have you ever forgotten something you were really frustrated about? You struggled to try and remember it. And finally, you just had to give it up. And the next morning, you're having breakfast, and suddenly there it is. The solution to the problem, or the name you were trying to think of, or the word you wanted to remember, or whatever. Sometimes it happens sooner than that. You could be in a whole different conversation, with somebody when it pops into your head. I know I've done that with people, or I'm, with somebody I've had this conversation with where I couldn't remember whatever it was. And then we're with somebody else, and all of a sudden I'll say something like, Uma Thurman. And the person I was talking to before will go, yes! And the other person will go, what? What does that have to do with what we're talking about? Because that was suddenly when the delivery arrived, yes? So Holmes says in his book, Help for Today, it is said that when Thomas Edison was confronted with a problem, the solution of which seemed impossible, he would lie down for 15 or 20 minutes, completely relaxed, letting go of the problem. This was his way of communing with the source of all knowledge. Often he would fall asleep. And upon awakening, the solution to the problem was before him like a vision. A number of scientific discoveries have been made because someone had a dream. The man who figured out how to create a functioning sewing machine, could not figure out how the needle was supposed to pull the thread through, until he had a dream that there were a bunch of native something people surrounding him with spears that had holes in the working end, like our needles on sewing machines have. And when he woke up, he realized that was the image he was looking for how to design a needle that would work with a sewing machine. It came in a dream. It wasn't a logical thing he thought his way to. It arrived because the problem went into his subconscious, where the creative law is doing the work there, and then it delivered itself to him, just like that. In The Science of Mind, Holmes said, a steadfast determination to attain some purpose, the letting go of all that opposes it, a complete reliance upon the law of good, and an unqualified trust in spirit, this is true and lasting prayer. So I want to share a story with you about a miracle of letting go. My husband and I conceived our daughter, Catherine, with the help of IVF. We've been trying for a baby for about 2 years, with a combination of infertility and recurrent miscarriages. Incredibly, our first round of IVF was a success. Despite a rocky pregnancy, Catherine arrived safe and sound at 37.5 weeks. She was perfect. We were in love. When Catherine was 14 months old, we decided to pursue IVF again. After all, it worked the first time, and let's face it, we weren't getting any younger. I had high hopes for success. Our first round of IVF resulted in a chemical pregnancy. I, by the way, have no idea what that means, but it wasn't good. It was hard on me and brought back a lot of sadness. After a couple of months, we tried it again, transferring another normal embryo. That cycle did not result in a pregnancy. Meanwhile, my 2 closest girlfriends had both become pregnant. Felt like a slap in the face. I had developed intense anger toward one of my friends, Anne. She was older than I was and had a 12-month-old daughter, and she'd conceived with IVF on the first try. Now here she was, pregnant again, and thrilled with the good news. I, on the other hand, had been trying for a year. I had weaned Catherine at 14 months to start the IVF meds. The focus on never giving up kept me from getting sad. My attitude toward getting pregnant had changed. I had become defiant. I armed myself with my baby-making arsenal, and I set out to get back at nature. And then my efforts failed. Controlling, forcing, hanging on. Does it sound familiar? I experienced a breakthrough during a coaching call in late October. My coach started the call by asking, "How are you doing?" I started sobbing, saying simply, "Terrible." I was embarrassed by the anger I felt toward my newly pregnant friend, but I took a deep breath and confided my feelings. My coach listened patiently, and then she said, "Do you remember what we talked about during our first call ever?" I had been terrified of what another baby might bring. I didn't want to lose that special relationship that I had with Catherine. After a year of failed attempts at getting pregnant, I'd forgotten all about that. Although I had spent a year chasing a goal that I didn't achieve, I had gained something wonderful. All this time spent completely focused on Catherine. I thought my pregnant friend, whose baby was much younger than Catherine, and of all the time that they would never have together. I'd been so focused on what wasn't working for me that I'd completely ignored the thing that had been so precious to me from the get-go, enjoying the special bond that I had with Catherine. From that moment on, I no longer felt anger toward my friend. I felt tremendous gratitude for the time I'd shared with Catherine. So even though she was pregnant, I felt like I was the lucky one. During that call, I also told my coach what a hard time I was having between our recent move and these failed IVF attempts. And she asked, "Do you think maybe you need a break?" It was mid-October, and my coach suggested taking time off to enjoy the holidays. So I talked the plan over with my husband, telling him, I just want to have some eggnog this year for a change. I instantly felt lighter. We went to the park every day, started our Christmas shopping. I made a huge Thanksgiving feast. Every day felt lighter, and I began to appreciate those moments that I'd otherwise have overlooked. I truly felt happy and at peace, and I had let go of any expectation that we might get pregnant. I felt happy. I had an appointment with a new fertility doctor on November 12th. My cycle had been a little strange that month, and it occurred to me that I should probably take a pregnancy test in case the new doctor wanted to run testing. Practically, as I was running out the door, I took the pregnancy test, and I instantly saw that beautiful second line. My mouth dropped open. I stood there in disbelief. I put the test in my purse and drove to the appointment, checking it every few minutes as I was driving to make sure I wasn't seeing things. This was our first natural pregnancy in 3.5 years. When I look back, it's not the positive pregnancy that I focus on. That outcome doesn't feel as significant to me as the process that led up to it. Once I realized how lucky I already was, I felt a shift. Although we never stopped hoping and trying for another baby, I let go of expectations that anything would happen. I stopped trying to control the outcome and accepted that whatever happened would be the right thing. As it turns out, another Christmas has come and gone, and I missed out on the eggnog again this year. I'm not complaining, though. This is what it means to let go of control, to let go and discover gratitude for what we anticipate coming, for the creative law itself in the very process, and for everything that's in our lives right now. As we go there and accept that and let go of trying to control the outcome, just let go of the prayer, give it over, that's when the magic really starts to happen. So now we've talked about the fullness of God being right where we are, speaking not about the problem, but about what we're claiming in the spiritual truth, coming from that presence, not praying to some presence, someplace, but coming from that presence that's right here, sending the word out and then experiencing the gratitude for it already and letting the prayer go and simply going on with our lives, knowing the prayer is doing the work. If we're doing the prayer, we let it go, and every time we do that prayer or some version of it, we let it go again. If a practitioner is treating for a particular circumstance or situation that they wish to move through or have a greater insight into, or for the strength to walk through it, whatever it might be, each day they may do that treatment or something similar to it, again, not because of a lack of faith, but because it is a practice in deepening faith, to claim it again, and with gratitude again, let it go. To claim the truth, not to grab back the how, or to try to tell God what the how should be, or exactly what we want it to look like, or exactly which one we want. I want that job. I had a practitioner once who told me that before she was a practitioner, she had gone into her minister and said, I'd really like you to treat for me to get this job. I have an interview coming up. This is my second interview, and I'm really excited about it, and I really want this job. And he said to her, he said, you know what? I am going to treat for you to get the job that is the perfect right job for you, where you feel fulfilled and appreciated and you're wanted and needed and your work is acknowledged and you receive the right benefits. Because he said, if this job that you want so much is not the right one for you, you don't want it anyway. And you don't want to be there in the way when somebody else is really supposed to have that job. You want the job that's yours, because there's no competition in the mind of God for that which is yours. And she got it. So if you have anything you're struggling with that you're grabbing in control or you're so worried about, we have practitioners on duty this morning. You want to go to the table after the service, have Joyce do a prayer for you. You'll be taken back to the back here, someplace that's private, for a private prayer. You don't ever have to leave carrying that kind of thing with you. So if you've never gone to a practitioner, they don't bite. Sunday morning prayers are given as a gift. It's not a whole full session, where they're bringing everything they know to bear. So it's a gift to you. And it's available every single week. I mean, why not, right? So I invite you to do that. And right now, let's go ahead and anchor this in prayer before we go on. So, right here, right now, I extend my awareness outward into the universe, observing, experiencing, remembering the vastness, the power, the vibration of the presence of love throughout every molecule. And I know that this is what I dwell in and am made from and am here expressing in this very moment. No matter my history, no matter my opinion of myself, this wholeness is the truth of who I am. So right now, I know that what's true about me is true about everyone in this room, everyone listening to or watching this morning celebration anywhere. This is the truth of our wholeness right now. So I claim for every one of us an opening of mind, allowing us to soften in our thinking, in our fears, in our doubts, in our beliefs, allowing them to dissolve like mist in the sunlight. That's all the substance they ever had. Stepping into the reality, the deeper, fuller, infinite, spiritual truth that is unchangeable and permanent, the wholeness, the love, the creativity, the wisdom, the joy and delight, the freedom. I claim those for each one of us on our paths, knowing that what applies specifically to each one's challenges and joys is delivered exactly and perfectly tailored to them and to me right now, that we are open-heartedly welcoming and accepting this good with such great gratitude, allowing it to come into being exactly the highest and best way for us, allowing the path to be revealed in its fullness, and allowing ourselves to have deep faith in the creative law and the very path that we're on, with great gratitude that we are enfolded in this love. Then I let this prayer go into the creative law of mind and spirit, which always says yes and does not pause, but acts now. I let it go in love, and I let it be. And if you claim this with me, I invite you to say, and so it is. Yes, and so it is. Please stand and join me now for the morning affirmation. Together we say, when I let my prayer go into the law, I'm not giving up. I'm letting the work be done in the best possible way by the law. When I can let go, I can relax, knowing all is well and all is being done for me right now. And so it is. Thank you. You may be seated. Would the ushers come forward now as we prepare to receive the sacred offering? This is whatever we're giving, time, talent, and treasure, what we share with Golden Gate and what we tithe out to the world as well, carries a part of our energy and our love with it as it goes. It is part of the divine abundance that's been entrusted to us. If you are online this morning or even in the room and you want to text a donation, the number is up on the screen. You can just text the amount, the dollar amount, to that number, and it'll guide you through the rest of it. And we want to, for everything being given this morning and everything we have been giving during this month of prayer, to be blessed by us in this room. Now, if you're here for the first time this morning, your presence here is your gift. But we are the gift as well, so we want to bless all of that. If you're giving your gift with a loved one, hold it in your hands together. Otherwise, let's all put our hand over our heart as we say this blessing together. This gift I give is God in action. I now send it forth to bless and to prosper. I know that everywhere it goes, it is creating a world living in love, one heart and one thought at a time. And so it is. Please go ahead. It's all yours.
We're so grateful to be back here at Golden Gate Center. I do have a new CD with Minogues, and the next song we're going to play, I Heard in a Dream. And if you like downloads, you can go to my website and download it for free.
And so now, on all of us together, on behalf of Golden Gate Center for Spiritual Living, we accept this offering. We send it out into the world to bless those that are ready to let go of control and open to receiving their good in all its fullness. And so it is.
And so it is.
By the way, I want to let you know, too, that there's a table set up over here with Anton and Laura's CDs. Some are individual, and I think some they've done together, yeah. So those are available. You can check them out and see what they have available for you this morning. Give them less to carry home. If you're here for the first time this morning, Welcome. We're so glad you came. And those of you online as well, if this is your first Sunday, we're delighted that you joined us also. Galen has at the back a welcome packet. She's actually holding up the blue welcome card that's in the packet now. If you fill that out and give it to her, she's going to give you a little book as our thank you gift for being here this morning. It's called Nourishing Thoughts. And that's yours to take with you. It's also our invitation to you to come back. We would love to get to know you and have you here in the future. By the way, that table has lots of flyers and past copies of the Science of Mind magazine. You're free to take any of those with you that you like as well. And I want to acknowledge once again Anton and Laura this morning for being with us. And also, let's acknowledge everybody that's been involved this morning in setting up the morning and getting it all together for us. We want to acknowledge all of them as well. All right. We have a session coming up at the San Francisco Marin Food Bank at the San Rafael Warehouse on Tuesday, May 14th from noon to 2. If you have not been on one of those teams, this might be a good time to do it. It's just 2 hours on a Tuesday. We do this like once a month. And it's just packing food that's going to then be distributed closer to the areas where people are in danger of food shortages, closer to where they live. So it's great to get to know volunteers from here and others from other places. And the way that you get on that team is just to let Ellen Nicosia know that you would like to do that. So you want to call her, leave her a voicemail, text her, email her, and give her your information so you can be contacted, because the food bank will let you know what you're required to do and where you go and all that kind of stuff. And there will be other volunteers there too. So we invite you and encourage you to consider that. Also, I'm going to be offering a workshop coming up on June 2nd from 1 to 3 at our Learning Center, and it's called Crossing a Sacred Threshold. This is about any change that is going on in your life that you would like assistance to weather it or have the courage to make that decision or guidance for it, or it's a major thing that you're looking at and you would like some insight into that. This is an opportunity to see how the subconscious knows things sometimes already for us before we're consciously aware of them, and to experience that, the power of that together. So I invite you to consider that. It's only going to be $20. It will be at the Learning Center. You can sign up at the back table, or you can register for it right from our website online. If you go to the Classes and Events tab, you'll find a way to do that. And also, let's see, I guess Lori isn't here, but Leslie's here. Leslie, can I call you out of the High Watch corner to come up and announce your class that's coming up? All right. So Lori Greer and Leslie Giannetti, two of our dear licensed practitioners, have a class coming up, and I want her to tell you about it. Come on up here, Leslie.
This is,
Wait a second.
thank you.
Let me see here.
Oh, maybe the other one.
There we go. That should work now. Let's see if it does.
So what's exciting about this class is it's the first time Lori and I ever taught together, and it's called Journey of the Soul. It's an accredited class, and there's a special meditation each week, and it's going to be on Zoom, so we can all be in our pajamas and really comfortable. And it takes us very deep, and the book that goes with it is called Magic of the Soul, and the author of this book is going to teach class number 4. So please ask me any questions. I'm happy to answer them for you. Thank you.
Yes. And you can also sign up your interest for that class, which is coming up. It starts on June 18th. It's a 6-week class, so it's 6 Tuesday evenings with Leslie and Lori. And I said up here that it was going to be at the Learning Center, but that's not true. So we'll change that. But that is coming up also. So save the dates for those, put them on your calendar. I look forward to seeing you. And make sure this morning that you take an opportunity to get a prayer request either in the box or to actually get a prayer yourself. So now would the practitioners surround the room? All of these folks are licensed practitioners. A lot of them are emeritus, which means they have been practitioners for 20 years or more. In fact, here's a clue. Like you'll see Reverend Judith has 3 little round pins on her practitioner stole. Each one of those is for 10 years.
No, 5.
Oh, 5 years. Well, okay, 5 years. Anyway, some of them are practitioners and have been more than 30 years. I think that your 30th year is this year, isn't it? Or 20th year, sorry. Yeah, 20th year is this year. All right. So we are going to do a chamber of prayer, which means that you will hear prayer coming at you from all different directions. Just let it in. And Anton is going to provide the music for it to float on. So let's go within right now. And so it is. Please stand and join us for the closing blessing and song right now. Oh, wait a sec. We're going to bless first and then sing. Together. I now walk so that whoever walks beside me dwells in the presence of God, and whoever places a hand in mine is lifted, and whoever thinks of me is illumined with God consciousness, for spirit and all people and I are one eternally. And so it is. And now, you know this one.
I am a light, I am a light, I am a light in this world. I am a light, I am a light, I am a light in this world. And I shine, and I shine, and I shine so bright. And I shine, and I shine, and I shine so bright. You are a light, you are a light, you are a light in this world. You are a light, you are a light, you are a light in this world. And you shine, and you shine, and you shine so bright. And you shine, and you shine, and you shine so bright.
shine.